Good evening, welcome again everybody to the Monday Night Club at the Longlands. On the show, join me tonight are Joe, AJT and Guesty. You alright lads?
James.
Nice to see you all again.
And you mate?
Yeah, the weekend saw Boro slip to their fourth league defeat of the season at QPR and also marked a fourth game without a win. Where for you do the problems lie, Boro fans? What needs to be done to get Boro's season back on track? Tonight the lads are going to preview the next two games in a massive week ahead for the Boro as we search for a place in the final four of the League Cup before heading to the Mad Stad for a crucial clash with Reading. So boys, Saturday, all we got from a mush in Shepherd's Bush was a defeat. What concerned you the most about the day, AJ, aside from the weather?
Yeah, apart from us getting absolutely soaked and the people camera getting wet and the microphone and Guesty and James. No, listen, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong that day, mate. It was one of them sort of draining performances, wasn't it? I think we all came out. We were all frustrated and all angry, but at the same time, you just sort of thinking, what the hell just happened there?
People said against against Aston Villa they could seen it coming. That type of performance.
Didn't see it coming on Saturday.
It's been coming. It's been coming every game basically. It's been the same.
We've been poor for a while,
long
haven't we?
time now, and I don't know.
Everyone's struggling for an answer, aren't they, about where that came from Saturday?
I just think as fans now we can't sugarcoat things no more.
Yeah, I've been that sick and disappointed after Saturday. Somebody came up with a beauty on Saturday saying we conceded 8 goals in our first 15 games.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back to to verify what the lad said, but I think he said the last 5 games we've conceded 8 goals. Which is concerning. Our
relegation
best part of our team, that's gone to crap now. You know what I mean? Our defence and Randolph. And
that's how we were set up, weren't we? And you could forgive certain things when we were getting results because you were defensively solid and strong. Yeah. Now that's going away. Now you start worrying them because we're not scoring a lot of goals, but we're conceding, and that's.
So when we had Dale at fullback, at the end, Downland's come out, Pulis has come out and says, Dale Fry can play in any position. He can't. He's not a fullback. And teams were catching us out. Blackburn done it the other week. We found wanting with Dale. Villa definitely done it with Balassi. And Dale's not a fullback. Shotton's not a fullback. Teams are starting to find out.
Same thing we know with Fry, and AJ will agree with me on this. You know, when we went to Preston, Fry was getting caught out of position numerous times.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, before the game, Joe, when the lineup was announced, and many saw that Britta Sombalonga and Jordan Hugel were in the same team, a lot of people thought, front two, is he going to play? Didn't turn out that way, did it? Did that surprise you?
That did a bit, you know. Putting him on the left wing, I mean, that's not a Sombalonga's natural position, isn't it? You know he would want a 4-4-2, but we have no wingers apart from Downing, except you would have put Tavernier in there. I mean, there's no way you can put a Sombalonga in that position.
Yeah, no, fair point. And I mean, we made a sloppy start the game. We were talking before we came on the show tonight, and we never really recovered in that opening 45 minutes. Saville got the equaliser in the second half. Good goal, took it well, and you were hoping we were going to kick on then and collect the 3 points.
Yeah, I said to James, cameraman, there's only one team going to win this now. Yeah. Because, like you say, that was our first shot on target. We were boxing them in, and then Pulis' moan said the ball was rolling. The free kick got took from. The free kick got took from the last place, the wrong place. But for them to get from here down other end, and with these,
do you think it's just a smoke screen that he's come out and had a go at the officials after the game to cover up for what's been a poor performance,
like
hasn't it?
All these old long in the tooth managers who were clever with words and they know how to say things. You know what I mean? So there was a time in the second half where one of the QPR players got the ball in his own half, and he just started motoring with the ball with Saville alongside him. And I'm shouting, just take one, take one, take one. And I'm still shouting, take one, and he's in our box. And I think, well, there just doesn't seem to be any. And Saville was one of our better players, no matter what people think of him. That lad has to be given time because Clayton isn't the answer no more. And he needs a run in the team. Stewie, for what he's done for the club, we're just saying the same things every week now because we're seeing it week in, week out, and the paying public at Teesside of Middlesbrough, who'll go watch Middlesbrough, they deserve better.
And they're not fools at the end of the day.
We're not.
I mean, at the end of the day, over 2,000 people went down to London there on Saturday. That's amazing support this time of the year, any time of the year, but this time of the year, for over 2,000 people to go down there and have to put up with that performance on Saturday, it's not good enough, is it?
Well, I was in the concourse at half time, and it does shock you when you hear that many people, the amount of people saying is get Tony Pulis out of our club.
Right.
And you don't like bringing it up on forums like this, but it has to be spoke about.
Yeah.
It's what the fans...
Well, there's been a funding page set up recently, hasn't there, Tony, after the Blackburn game, the Pulis out banner, and there's growing criticism. You can't deny that it's happening. Do you think it's fair, lads, or do you think this is now just an indication of maybe modern football where managers are just a few results away from a crisis and people are calling for their heads? What do you reckon?
I mean, listen, you're going to cut it both ways. That is kind of an occurrence, isn't it, in football? But I don't think he can have a go at any Boro fan for the way they feel about the manager.
Right.
It's people want to be entertained. We've said it before, week in, week out. People want to be entertained. You can't tell me that you've been entertained the last few games. Villa, Blackburn, and the one on Saturday.
We haven't been entertained for a long time.
Do you know what I mean? The month of August was the best football we've played, and that's what I've always said.
We were talking to a gang of QPR lads before kick-off.
Yeah.
And they said, since Steve McLaren's come in after the first 4 games, they're not bothered whether they win, lose or draw, because they're seeing decent football.
Right.
And they're quite happy with that at the moment. They know they're not going to go up, they're not going to go down. And all they want to see is their team play decent attacking football.
Do you think the expectations are different at our club though? Because do you think our fans expect us to go up?
Because I still go back to what our chairman said the day we got relegated. That's why our expectations this time are so high. You know, when last time we went down and Southgate was in charge, that's when, for me, that's when the rot really set in, because the crowd started to dwindle, and for me, Gibson panicked then. Because the crowds were starting to drop away, and he brought Strachan in, and then they dropped even further, and we've never recovered. Because didn't we beat Derby?
Derby and went second in the league.
And it's like you say.
Yeah. I mean, just going on about sacking managers and stuff, lads. Do you think it's dangerous if you get in a culture of constantly changing your manager? I mean, if say Pulis is our 3rd manager in less than 2 years now, do you think as a club we're any better off now than we were 2 years ago?
Depends, you know, because I think Karanka really steadied the ship, really, for us getting up to the Premier League, but only to go straight back down. I mean, Pulis now, he's been in charge now for like 356 days now. I mean, there's a certain point I would probably just give him to the end of the season. If we don't go up by this season, I think his
contract's up at the end of the season. He's got a contract till the end of the season.
Can I ask you 3 years a question?
Yeah.
This time last year, right? Are we better any off under Pulis in 12 months of Pulis? A manager was brought in who was told us he knows how to get us out of this league. He knows what he wants. He knows what he has to do to get us out of this league. We might be better off positionally in the league, but are we a better team?
I think we've got a weaker squad than this time last year. I think, and whether that's down to Tony Pulis or people behind the scenes, the recruitment, because I think we've got a squad now that's not as good as the squad we had this time last year. I think we're a weaker squad. I mean, our best 2 players, we've said this before, have gone.
Yeah.
In terms of a creative, in Traore and Bamford, they've gone, not replaced. And I think we are a weaker side than we were. And I think Pulis himself will probably hold his hand up and say that.
Well, for a manager to constantly keep saying this squad, I've said all along, this squad isn't good enough, and he's had 3 transfer windows, and he's still up and on saying his squad's not good enough. And he's done nothing about it.
Nothing at all, mate. Nothing at all. But say, January's another window. Do we honestly think he's going to bring anyone who's going to change us in any sort of way in January, like I say?
Well, I think we've had bad transfer windows before Tony Pulis came here, and again, this is looking at something deeper than your manager. I think you're looking at other things in the club, because Karanka, that was his death. He signed his death warrant. The January transfer window when we were in the Premier League. Monk had a lot of money to spend, and maybe with the exception of Randolph, didn't spend it very wisely. So again, I think transfer windows have been poor for the Boro at least the last 4, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I agree. It's like that, man. It's in January. You know what I mean? We have to try and get rid of the deadwood, and we all know what the deadwood is. Boro fans are.
We've got to get someone to take them off your hands.
Well,
that's the key. Who's going to take on big wages and players on?
Who's going to take someone on like Braithwaite who'll spit his dummy out when he's allegedly one of the best clubs in the division?
It's like we were saying on the way home on Saturday, though. Who's going to come if we're playing unattractive football and not playing the way players want us to play?
Who's going to come if we're not in the top 6?
Yeah. But that's it, innit?
Plus the fact that, from what I've seen, there's going to be more outs from us, rumours-wise, than there are coming in. I mean, like, you had a summer longer link with Celtic, and then Manchester United are heavily scouting Tavernier. I mean, nothing for us that's going to be coming in wise. And plus, Britain, there's no one seems to be interested in Braithwaite at the moment apart from Swansea, who want him on loan.
And that's it, because no one's going to take on his wage, either. No one's going to take a wage on as big as what he's getting and probably pay Boro the sort of transfer fee they wanted to get in.
Yeah.
And like you've said there about the sort of players you want to bring in, a little bit of a telling thing for me was in the last transfer window, he was linked with Yannick Bolasie and Matt Phillips, both attacking players who've worked under him, didn't come here.
Yeah.
So if you've got lads that have played under him in that sort of role and they're not willing to sign for you, it's a hard sell to get other people. I mean, and I'm not putting down our area, it's also hard to attract people up to Middlesbrough. I think that's mainly because they don't know how good it is up here until they find out what it's like. But I think if players won't sign for you that have worked under you before, you're on a bit of a hiding to nothing, aren't you?
It's like these players, they all talk, they're all mates now, you know what I mean, on your social media. And imagine Stewie Downing talking to someone like Bolasie about training, and he's, we were at RAF Lehman for a week at boot camp, and he took our phones off us. You know what I mean?
No, it's true though, it's true, isn't it?
I mean, talking about Stewie Downing there, you've mentioned earlier on as well about Adam Clayton, George Friend, Stewie Downing, great servants for the club. They have been fantastic servants for the club over the last 4 or 5 years. But do you think it's maybe time for some of those to step to one side and other people?
I dare say the likes of Clayton, Friend, Downing, Ledbetter, we might see tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Dimmy, all these players who were here under Karanka have been great servants. Yeah. And I dare say Stewie did do the most miles on Saturday. George Friend, he's committed.
You can never question that.
You can never question none of them players' commitment. But I think it's time. They came in under the Karanka regime, and George Friend, Britta Sombalonga, Ryan Shotton all had a go at Pulis on Saturday on the touchline. And you think of what happened under Karanka with these players. Woodgate's still at the club. Is the changing room starting to go toxic again? Have these players got a bigger say in the changing room than some of the coaching staff? Yeah. I'm not, like you say, that's just me speculating to what happened before. So.
Something's obviously happening, isn't it? Because it's all, listen, let's say, we always revert back to the month of August, playing our best football, he brought players in and whatnot. And then slowly we've seen things happen on the pitch, like on Saturday, and we've seen shot and freak out. That's what I've seen. And as soon as I thought, something's up here. Do
you think it could just be frustration at how things are?
As well, though. Egos on the football pitch. You know what I mean? It's all that sort of comes into it all, and you think, it's one of them whereabouts. I read a comment last time, people saying they've been brought in to do a job and not so much to love the badge that they're playing for.
That's true, yeah.
And that's a bit like, you know what I mean? Back in the day, you wouldn't have seen all that. Do you know what I mean? When you play for the Boro, it's got to mean something.
But I think that's the same at most clubs now. I think a lot of lads now, you maybe see in the past Boro players, you'd see them out on the town, the town on a Saturday night, you would see them, and you could identify with your heroes then. I think now...
They'd be in your Wakeman's club.
It's very different now, and I think and a lot of that as well isn't to do with the players, it isn't the players' fault, it's social media. They've got to be very careful and very savvy, and they don't want to get caught out with things. But I think the game is different now, and I think maybe whereas in the past, some players would have an empathy with a club, and they'd have a feeling and an understanding with the players, that's maybe... been taken away from them a little bit because of how things are now.
Well, look where they train now.
Yeah.
They train out in the sticks, you know what I mean? It's a good...
Yeah, it's not Hall Drive anymore, or stuff like that where you can just turn up and...
Hutton Road and watch them over the gate or things like that. It's a million miles away if you haven't got a car, you know what I mean? So
it is very different, isn't it? I mean, bringing it back to the modern day, Joe, the gap to Norwich in second now is 8 points. And depending on the result in tonight's game, in the old Brian Clough derby, we slip out the top 6 for the first time since the opening day of the season. My question to you, Joe, and the rest of the lads is, realistically, with the squad and the manager, where do you expect us to finish now this season?
Be lucky if we get a playoff place if we look at it this way, you know what I mean? With the whole team and that being poor. I mean, Karanka can leapfrog us tonight, but I expected it, hopefully, if we're lucky, just to get in the playoffs. I mean, I can't see us getting automatic now. I think Leeds, I'll probably see finishing at top point at the end of the season, and probably whoever's up above, like West Brom, for example, can nick the other spot, and I think I'll be lucky just to settle for the playoffs at best.
AJ?
Listen, it's one of them, isn't it?
Big sigh there.
This should be a quick answer from me, but I'll go into details. Unless something miraculous happens and we have a miracle at the Riverside over Christmas period, it's going to be a very, very difficult season. And as I said before, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. You know what I mean? I've almost had enough, but I'm not had enough because it's a club we all love and whatnot. Of course, we all want to say Boro are going to go up and we're going to win the league, but you look at it realistically, we haven't got the ability to win this league. We haven't got the ability to finish in the top 2. You know what I mean? The players aren't pulling the weight. They haven't got the manager unless something dramatically happens, which I can't see it, and it pains me to say I can't see that happening.
Without additions to the squad.
I don't see any big names coming in January.
No.
I see a very much dead transfer window once again. Players leaving, people moaning, people getting on his back, and say if Hughes gets sacked next year, by the end of the season, someone else comes in. I mean, this, that, and the other. I see it could be a long season. You could finish 10th, or you could finish in the playoffs. But listen, either way, I don't think at this moment in time I can say Boro are going to finish anywhere up there. I'll be honest with you, because there's other teams that are better than us and playing a lot better than us.
Like you say, we're on the way down. You've got Villa, Stoke, teams like that,
West
all
Brom.
on the way up. West Brom, Leeds. The thing is, it's that tight this season. All these teams have to play each other, so it's just going to get more and more condensed.
The halfway point,
so that could help us out in some way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I hate to keep harping on, but I was talking to Boro Fan today, who said even his kids don't want to go anymore. Right. Season ticket holders, and they don't want to go because of the board.
Right.
As for finishing in the top 6, I look at Leeds, and pretty much they've got the same squad as last season, but they've got a different manager, and look what they're doing for
different
a different
mentality.
manager.
Yeah.
Some, you know what I mean?
It's a group of players who do want to play for the manager and
but
the club.
Last season they were crap.
Yeah.
They brought a new manager in and totally different players. Don't want, like you say, it's up to Gibson what he does with Pulis. Yeah. But at the moment, I can't see us getting top 6, even though the way this league's fluctuating this season.
Oh, it's funny, after the game on Saturday, Steve McLaren came out and he said Middlesbrough are too good not to be up there at the end of the season. And like I say, that's interesting because when you hear pros and managers of other clubs, they're very like, Pulis is a great manager, he'll get you up there, look at your squad, it's fantastic. Yeah. I'll go back to the start of the season, a lad who I go to the games with, and he said to me, looking at our squad, he said, do you know what? He said, I think we'll finish mid-table this season with that squad. And I think that first month maybe got our hopes raised as to how good we could do. And it's an unforgiving league, the Championship. It is a difficult league, and I mean, you can make a strong case for at least 10 clubs to be up there. And at the end of the day, there's only going to be 3 go up. So that means there's going to be 7 clubs out of them, 10 disappointed. We could be one of those. We could go up.
Hypothetically, if we'd have continued playing the way we did with the players which we were using in August, could you see us being in a different position to what we are now, before the likes of Bat, Hugo and all these loanies came in, if we'd have persevered with Tav, Wing and Fletcher?
Possibly. It's a big risk, though, isn't it, when you're playing young lads? And I mean, I think they deserve their place in the starting lineup, but I know a lot of people come out and say, when you're playing young lads, you're going to deal with inconsistencies, because they're going to be good one week, they might just totally disappear the next. Yeah. And there might have been games where they've been very hit and miss. We won't know the answer to that because it hasn't. Pulis has decided he'll pick them and play them now and again, and he won't stick with them throughout, which, like I say, some people are maybe disappointed with, but I can see why he hasn't done that. Like I say, there's a lot of teams that are going to be disappointed at the end of this season if they don't go up, because it's a quality championship. Not high quality in terms of teams like Wolves, but I think it's much of a muchness this year. Yeah. And you can make a case for anybody being up there. And like I say, I'm just looking at another stat there. Sheffield Wednesday, 19 years. Leeds, 15 years. Ipswich, 17 years. Forest, 20 years. That's how long all those clubs have been out the top flight for. All 4 of them clubs, arguably, you would say, are as big as, if not bigger than the Boro.
Bit of bigger history, you know what I mean?
So that shows the Championship, it's not something you can just get in there and think, oh, do you know what, we're going to stroll this league and walk out of it. Not many teams do.
No, we have no divine right to think that when Villa, Forest, European Cup winners. And we're in the same division as them, you know what I mean? So
it is a tough league, and like I say, we're at the halfway point of the season. Yeah. It's not all lost. I know everyone's a little bit down and despondent at the minute. We're still in the top 6 as we speak. 8 points might seem a lot in terms of a gap to the top 2, but I think with the Christmas fixtures we've got, we need to improve massively on the performance we put in on Saturday. But I think Reading away, Sheffield at home, Ipswich at home, that obviously the ideal opportunity, doesn't it?
The only way for Pulis to win the crowd back over now is to drop this defending the point that we start with. Stop this negativity.
I certainly think at home, definitely.
Our midfield, after starting to get beyond our strikers, it has to be a total turnaround.
And that needs a change of players, doesn't it?
Definitely. It has to be a total turnaround. of us allowing other teams to dictate possession and us trying to hit them on the break with a squad full of players that has no pace.
Yeah, that's something that's got to be addressed. I mean, if we have any designs, Joe, on making the top 6 this season, Saturday, Reading, we really need to be looking at picking up 3 points there, not just a point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because considering the fact though that they've got no manager still after Paul Clement got the boot in the beginning of the month, and then caretaker charge by Scott Marshall at the minute, you hardly expect, because they're near enough flirting with relegation zone at the minute, you expect to pick up 3 points out of that game. And plus, the fact that their fans, they've not been turning up the games recently, like I saw when they played Sheffield United. Yeah. They're a team just not coping at the moment.
And going back to what you've said there, though, Guesty and AJ, it's crucial then on Saturday. We've got to go at them straight away because you don't give them any encouragement, 100%. Do you? If you give what few fans they've got in the ground, if you give them a chance or a sniff that they're going to get something from the game, they'll raise their performance.
Man, it's mental that, you know what I mean? It's Reading, and I'm not taking no disrespect away from them, but they're a dire team at the minute.
They were in a similar position last season as well.
They can't win a game. The fans are depressed. The fans
want a Jap stamp sacking. You know what I mean?
But I mean, the stadium's empty most weeks. But it's it's odd that we can go there. You can see in the back of your head it could go all wrong, and they could do us 2-0. We could come out there thinking it's all going down the pan again. Or you could come out there winning 2-0. But then you have to go to your next game and win it, as I've always said.
Got to back it up now. That's what we've got to back
do. We have the ability in our team to go and beat Reading, Sheffield Wednesday, and Ipswich if we want to go and beat them. But it's about the mentality. Do the players want it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go on then. So last year we won there 2-0. I think it was led bit of penalty and Britt scored the goals that day. I think it was. Predictions for Saturday. We'll do that one first. Go on, Joe.
I'll take a 2-0 Boro win.
2-0. Go on, Guesty.
Well, the way we're defending at the moment, I'm going to go for a 3-2 Boro win. I'm going all out for it. You know what I mean?
That's your full month's quarter of goals used up there, mate.
Even though we haven't scored 3 goals for God knows how long.
Since Sheffield United,
I'm going to go 3-2. It's a good old relegation battle.
AJ, go on.
Did you know what? I've been right, I think, the last 2 predictions, haven't I?
Oh, I know.
Do you know what it is? I'm sorry, Boro fans, but on Thursday night, I was out with some friends.
Yeah.
And my mate put a bet on. He said, AJ, scoreline for Saturday. And I said, 2-1 QPR. And I think he won because it was 10-1. But I do
That's not what you never said to us.
I know. I do apologise. I said 3-1 because I'm saying, you know what I mean? But
yeah, I'll tell you what.
It's can't have more than one guess,
Reading can hardly score.
Right, they up.
Reading can hardly score at home, but we've got to go there and win the game, James. Yeah. There should be no messing about at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we've got the ability to beat it, and that's what does me anything. So either way, we've got the ability to blow these teams out the water because.
When you look at, we went to Bristol and destroyed them.
We should be winning that game for me comfortably. 2-0. There shouldn't be a question. You get in there, get the job done.
So you're going with 2-0?
Yeah. I'll go for 2-0, but
it's only Monday.
Yeah. Before we won by the end of the week.
He's got to go on Instagram, Twitter, and you know what I mean. And
for other versions,
then go out with his mates, and then see, you know.
I'm going to go for a nervy 1-0 win.
Yeah.
I think we'll get an edgy 1-0 win, but with 3 points, and that's all that matters. Anyway, before then, a bit of a question for you there, you lads. What have Willie Madron, Stuart Ripley, Steve Vickers, Craig Ignat, and Michael Ricketts all got in common?
They've all played in the Carabao Cup.
It's on that lines, yeah.
They've all played in a
Cup
quarter-final.
Nearly there, you've almost got the answer.
They've all played for Burton in a quarter-final.
No. Do you want me to tell you, lads?
They've
all scored in the game that Boro have won in the quarter-finals of the League Cup.
Right. Really? Michael Ricketts scored
Michael Ricketts, he scored one of his, I think he scored 3 goals for us, and one of them was against Tottenham when we drew, and we beat them on penalties the year we won it.
Yeah, because I remember they didn't hit the post on the penalties.
Taricho,
I was actually listening to that game from my garden shed with our dad. So
I remember Darren Anderson getting the goal for Spurs.
Yes, early doors, very early in the game. Yeah. So that brings us on to tomorrow night, lads. The clash at the Riverside.
Madron scored against?
Burnley, when we beat Burnley in 1975. Yeah. And then we got beat off Man City in the semis. And 75.
City went on to win it, didn't
they? Beat Newcastle.
Wasn't even born.
Beat Newcastle. Imagine that playing Newcastle in a League Cup final at Wembley.
Dennis Stewart scored,
The overhead kick, Good knowledge. So that brings us on tomorrow night, Burton Albion. Are you excited? At a quarter-final at the Riverside. I've never known such a low-key atmosphere about a quarter-final of the League Cup.
If it was... You don't want to go backwards, but i.e. Robson era, McLaren era, if that stadium was going to be rocking like it used to be back then, it's a massive, massive game.
It's huge.
The fans have to come out for it. It's a cup quarter final.
It's massive. It's one of the biggest games.
The competition we've had our most success in. And people need to get out and come and watch it, no matter what the weather's like. Because if it's full, then players will come out 10 feet tall. And it must make a massive difference not seeing any red seats. Do you know what I mean?
Another interesting point. VAR's in use.
It is tomorrow night,
Thank God for that.
That's it, so the officials may only get the odd decision wrong tomorrow then.
But like you say, that creates its own controversy.
It does, and it's going to be...
I agree with you there about the whole, people got to come out, man. I was thinking about it earlier on in my house, I'm thinking, no one's even mentioned it.
No one's talking about I think everyone's...
When you're in the semis against the Premier League team.
And it's going to be a huge Premier League team in all likelihood, isn't
it?
If we do get there, I don't want to jump the gun, but you're looking at all likelihood probably Arsenal or Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City. They're the ones.
Leicester and Leicester, aren't they?
Leicester, I'd be surprised.
Man City will beat them,
Who fancies a long trip to Bournemouth on the midweek?
Not again, no. We did that last year. It was no fun at all, was it?
Last year,
that was no fun at all. I don't fancy
one of them we got beat 3-1.
Someone had a great idea of bringing Foxy in for me. Don't know whatever happened to him.
The only thing is, if we get Bournemouth, that's probably your best chance of getting through. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but if you look at the quality of some of the teams, even their reserves, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, they've got players that are on another level.
That's what we want to see.
That's
what we want to see at the Riverside.
That's what you've got
this stage for. Strong as well.
It would be great though to see Man City down there. I know they gave the FA Cup last year, did us over, but
Man City never beat us.
Last year they did.
Yeah, and only in the cup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Seeing David Silva and them run around the Riverside pitch was great. But I've spent the season in the Championship, man.
But I mean, so far in the League Cup, Tony Pulis has made a lot of changes to his starting lineup for the games. Do you expect that to change tomorrow night? Or do you think he's going to play what was similar to the starting 11 at QPR? Or do you think he's going to bring fresh faces in tomorrow?
That's the rest if you want, because obviously Reading.
Like Joe said in his preview, I think Randolph will be having a rest. Like you say, I can see Donny Lonergan coming in.
I think he's mentioned Braithwaite may play tomorrow night, which will be interesting.
Besic available.
Besic is back,
Like you say, there mightn't be that many changes. Like you say, you've got the kids, Spence, Wood. It'd be nice to see them. Not starting. Do you know what I mean? But
I think the back two tomorrow got to be solid with Dale Fry, Danny back.
It's a type of game. It's a cup game. It's a one-off cup game, and it's very rare it happens. But away to Burton, we should go out, get rid of them, and enjoy the night.
Can I just say one word?
This is the Boro. Orient,
Cardiff. You know, we've been there before. I mean,
Cardiff.
Don't underestimate them. I mean,
that's the back playing from that day, weren't you?
I mean, Burnley, Nottingham Forest.
And I mean,
they've had a harder run to the last 8 than what we have, I would say. And I know their form's dipped since they beat Forest, but it's going to be a tough game still. It's their biggest ever cup match.
We've been sat here for the last 20 minutes slagging us off, and we're just, we're the Boro. We're going absolutely batter bed.
The thing is, though, you got to think they're coming here thinking, well, in the mindset of we got nothing to lose, because if they lose tomorrow, they'll be thinking that's what everyone expects. So got no pressure.
Their first ever major quarter final.
Competition.
So it's a big game for them.
He's a fantastic manager, Nigel Clough. What he's done for them. You know what I mean?
I mean, our under-23s went there last month and beat them 1-0 in the Checker Trade, so that's no pressure on our first 11 tomorrow night. But predictions for tomorrow then?
The big sigh again.
That's what I like it, mate. Predictions.
I'll take again another 2-0 win.
Guess they've been sat in the van by half time. Now listen, it's one of them again. Away, Boro, man. It's Burton Albion, for crying out loud. Lose this tomorrow, and I don't know, James. I didn't chuck myself in the bloody river or something.
He'll do.
I'm up for that.
Be cold, mate.
It's one of them where I look at it and I think,
come on, Burton.
There's 2 million Leeds fans. We'll all be on Burton scarves on tomorrow.
I look at it and I just think, for crying out loud, with no disrespect to them, we've got to be beating Burton Albion at home.
We'll be the favourites.
Listen, Boro to win it 5-0. We got to beat Burton, mate.
So you've got 5-0 there, 2-0 on Saturday. Oh, hey, that's
I love Tony Pulis.
Feast of a week. This is going to be.
Listen, seriously though, I'll take a 1-0 and just get through to the semis.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
23-22 on penalties. You know what? I'll go 1-0 tomorrow.
Yeah, 1-0 just to get
1-0.
through.
It's enough.
Yeah, just to get through. Yeah, you don't want it because it's penalties after 90 minutes, isn't it? So you want to get the job done in 90 minutes.
So where we've been at our most entertaining in this competition as well. Obviously, I miss Preston because of work.
Wings score the beauty.
Okay, it's Palace. Yeah.
So. Let's go score there and enjoy the night.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. 2-0. I fancy a 2-0 tomorrow night. That'll be.
I don't know how many they're bringing, but they've got a fair few allocation. They've got the normal, and they come right round to the middle of the south stand.
So might be bringing a fair few. Yeah.
3,000 to 5,000. That's what I've heard. So depending on if they sold all the tickets or not.
It's the biggest game in their history, really. Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what you're expecting in terms of the overall crowd? What do you think tomorrow night, lads?
Just hope there's a decent Boro. And like I say, man, we haven't seen anything close to a sellout.
Yeah, I think the best. Say we can muster is about 15,000 at best.
It's starting to grow each round. We've got more and more. So
I think it was like 11,000 something against Palace, wasn't it?
Trying to get 15 to 18.
It'd be nice to see 15, 16,000 Boro fans there.
The semi-final will be
if they're bringing 5,000, it's going to create a decent atmosphere.
I think a semi-final. I think as much as it be because Boro fans want to see the Boro in the semi-final, it'll obviously be an attractive team you're going to play in the semi-final as well, isn't it? So yeah, we'll see if we get there. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done before we get there. Yeah,
a lot of work.
Yeah. Just before we go, heard on the radio before we came in tonight, Mo Besic saying he wants to extend his stay at the club. He's here on a season-long loan. He said he loves it at the club here and he wants to stay. What's your thoughts on that, boys?
Depends. If like Everton want like 5 or 6 million for him. Like I said, with Clayton been a good servant and probably not been round to the squad no more, I'll probably take him, pay the 6 million to Everton, I'd say.
He has to improve a lot for me.
He's not the player he was at the end of last season, is he, at the moment?
No, he's not even worth considering extending in his loan deal if we're going to get the perform. The sending off was an absolute disgrace. We can all argue rings round, but at the end of the day, it was him who lost possession and put himself in that position.
There was no need for him to do what he did.
He has to pass the ball. I mean,
Sheffield Wednesday, absolutely amazing. He was great to watch, but since then he's just.
He winds me up more better. He gets the ball, it's 40 touches before he passes it on, and I agree with you there. The more better we saw Derby away, for instance, when he scored, and he was that afternoon, he was on fire, and everyone came out. You know,
like you say, you don't expect it every week. Them type of performances, but you want a level where he's a 7 or 8 every week, but he's not.
You want that level of consistency as well.
If it was right now, I'd say don't extend it because we haven't seen the more best we've seen. But on the point of the cup games, well, I think if we do win tomorrow, we have 5 games in like 12 days, don't we? Something ridiculous.
After Christmas, it could be really busy. Yeah, you'll have Derby New Year's Day, Peterborough the 5th, first legs on the 8th of the League Cup, Birmingham on the 12th. So that's 4 games there in 12 days.
Yeah, and then the second leg after that.
Bournemouth away on that. Bournemouth away.
Like you say, we've been linked with a couple of players, and if that's a standard of play that we're going to be trying to target.
Not excited you then?
No, Connor Wickham. He did excite me when he was at Sunderland and he was scoring goals before he had his move to Palace. But no, not for me.
Since the move, he's not even been on the bench.
I'd try and if I was the Borough and if Sunderland were willing to accept, I'd try and get. If they're going to go for a knacker, someone who's always injured, you know, go for the kid from Sunderland who's just getting back into the first team.
Darren Watmore.
That's him. You know what I mean? Try and get him here on 6 months loan. Yeah. Because the Gazette. Well, did I see the Gazette headline last night? We need a rough diamond, and they put a picture of N'Golo Kante on. You know what I mean? So let's just go find one of them, eh?
Yeah, it's not that easy, is it? But yeah, obviously January transfer window, not far away. And we're going to be talking about that soon. Borough fans, thanks for watching tonight. Lads, thanks for joining me. Enjoyed the show. Keep your eyes peeled for things on Boro Fan TV. There'll be lots of things happening over the Christmas holidays. There won't be a show going out live next Monday because it's obviously Christmas Eve and people will be out celebrating the 2 massive wins we have, as AJ predicts, against Burton Albion and Reading. So there'll be nobody here sober enough to do a programme next Monday. But there'll be lots of stuff going on during the holidays, so keep your eyes peeled. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. The lads will be at the ground tomorrow night outside on Dockside Road and at the Mad Stad on Saturday. So, as always, give me your opinions, chat to the lads. Makes things a bit more bearable when you can share the pain and share the joy with people as well. So, hopefully, there'll be a lot of joy this week. Until next week, or till we next meet, guys, all the best. And up the Borough.
Up the Borough.